Hello dear friends and welcome to this video. Today we will talk about something that's very important for health in general, but also if you're a diabetic, and that's turmeric. It's wonderful to use as a spice or as a supplement, and in many traditions it's been used for hundreds of years in medicine, and it's still being used in medicine. So turmeric is very interesting, and a lot of new studies shows also very promising results when it comes to being a diabetic and taking some turmeric every day. It's important here again, I'm not a healthcare professional in any ways, so always consult with your doctor. As with everything, it can have some side effects. But turmeric in general for most people is safe, but always be sure when it comes to supplement or when it comes to different foods that we include. For example, just a small amount of licorice can increase for some people, some negative effects. So one needs to be a bit careful and double check these things with your own situation. Very important. And first of all, turmeric can be anti-inflammatory. So to take some turmeric every day can help the body fight inflammation. If you're stressed, if you're diabetic, other chronic illnesses, then turmeric can be very good to include to fight inflammation. It's also a very strong antioxidant. In turmeric you have something called curcumin, and this compound is very healthy. By mistake I said it's also included in ginger, but this is a different one. But here you have this curcumin, which is very healthy part of the turmeric. So it has a strong antioxidant effect, and it can even help with aging. So who doesn't want that, you know? It can help with aging, which is wonderful. It can also, when it comes to heart health, be very beneficial, which many people in the West, also I guess now in the rest of the world, are struggling with today. So it can, for example, lower the bad cholesterol, which is very important here. Also, when it comes to blood pressure, we have seen some good positive effects from turmeric. Very interesting. It's also been some studies showing it can improve brain function. And this is also wonderful. So here it can also protect against Alzheimer's disease. We don't know this for sure, very clearly, but there is some indications, at least in the data, that it can help against Alzheimer's disease, which is very and getting more and more common. We are getting also older, and yeah, there's one of the things with aging which can be a huge challenge. So here also curcumin can be quite important. And also some studies show that it can reduce some type of cancer risk, which is also a big problem now in the world. So if you take turmeric every day and this compound in it, curcumin, it can be helpful against some type of cancers, like in colon, breast cancer and skin cancer. There has been some studies and maybe also others out there, so it can also be helpful here. And in general, if you lower inflammation in the body, it is very helpful to fight against developing tumors and getting cancer. For digestion, turmeric is also very good. Some people struggle with irritable bowel syndrome. They can also test curcumin or turmeric to help with some of the symptoms from irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. So here it can also be quite interesting. And also some studies show that it can support liver health. So it can help the liver from forming some dangerous enzymes, which can be dangerous. So again, curcumin and turmeric is very interesting in this way. So it has a lot of different medical properties that can be interesting for everybody, not just if you're a diabetic. If you're a diabetic, let's dive a bit deeper into this. It also has some very, very useful properties. Again, it's not like super strong medicine. It can be helpful. For example, when it comes to insulin sensitivity. So turmeric can be helpful, and this compound curcumin in turmeric, to make you more, not less, but less resistant, but more sensitive when it comes to insulin. So it helps the cells to absorb glucose more effectively, which is of course very, very important if you're a diabetic. And some people really struggle with this, also if they're type 2 diabetics. So here it can be very useful to fight against insulin resistance. It can also lower blood sugar levels, the fasting blood sugar. So this is of course very, very important as well. And we have already talked about it, but again, if you're diabetic, you have a higher chance of inflammation in the body. So then turmeric can be very, very useful. It can also help in your pancreas, some of the cells here, the beta cells. It can actually protect them a bit. So some people, it depends which type of diabetic you are, but for some people, I mean, of course, then your cells in your body kind of fights the cells or the insulin production. But also for some people, it's just slower or not as effective as it should be. And then it can be very, very interesting and very, very useful here for the pancreas and for the beta cells to produce insulin. And last but not least, it can also reduce some complications. The kidney damage, for example, there have been some studies, heart disease, nerve damage. So a lot of things here, if you have bad blood sugar, it can also increase the rate of aging, and here also turmeric can be quite useful. So a lot of different interesting things if you are a normal person, and if you're a diabetic, if you take turmeric. I personally take a teaspoon every day with some black pepper in it to increase the absorption of curcumin. So this is how I do it, but you can also buy it in a supplement. In Norway it's quite expensive, so I just take the powder and rinse it down with some fresh juice. But there are many ways of doing it, or just if you have for dinner every day, you can add some, or yeah, as you like. But for me, it's so easy to do it in the morning. Just take a teaspoon, and it's quick, fast, and easy. Yeah. But always check with your doctor before. So have a wonderful day. I hope this was useful. See you later. Bye.